So, today we are going to dive into 5 of Shakespeare's most, well, emotionally raw sonnets. But here's the twist. We're not going to treat them like poems you read in a stuffy classroom. No. Think of them as 5 acts in this just gripping psychological drama. It's all about love, value, and what happens when it all comes crashing down. It's a story where Shakespeare, believe it or not, uses the coldest language you can imagine to describe the hottest, most intense kind of pain. All right, let's just start with a really simple, modern question. How do you end a relationship? Seriously, think about it. Is it a quick text? A long, painful conversation? Maybe you just ghost them. Whatever the method, it's always messy, right? It's an emotional, tangled mess. Well, Shakespeare's answer, it's a little different. He suggests you do it with a legal notice. Yeah, you heard that right, a legal document. And that totally bizarre contrast, between a cold, formal piece of paper and a shattered, broken heart, that is exactly what we're going to unpack today. All right, Act 1, let's get into it. This is Sonnet 87. Now, the speaker here isn't begging or pleading for his beloved to stay. Not even close. He's actually, well, formally terminating their agreement. It's like he's serving a legal notice, saying, sorry, I just can't afford you anymore. And it all kicks off with this absolutely brilliant bit of wordplay, a pun. When he says, thou art too dear, it's a double whammy. It means you are so, so precious to me, but at the very same time, it means you are way too expensive. He's pretty much saying, hey, I've checked the price tag, and yeah, you are way out of my league. Now, you might think this is just Shakespeare showing off, being clever with words, but using legal language to talk about love was actually a thing back then, a poetic tool. The thing is, what Shakespeare does here is on another level. He uses it like a scalpel, with absolute precision. He makes this gut-wrenching emotional case, but in the coldest, most detached language possible. He's not crying on the page, he's auditing the relationship. So let's break this down, because this is where you really see the heartbreak hiding behind the jargon. The beloved's charter, that's just a cold word for his freedom to leave. The speaker's bonds, those are his claims on the relationship, all now null and void. His patent to that love, sorry, revoked. And the whole thing, the entire relationship, it's chalked up to a misprision. Basically a legal oopsie, a mistake in judgment. So this leaves us with a really big question, right? What is going on in this guy's head? Is this him being incredibly dignified, generous and letting the other person go? Or is it something darker, a complete and total surrender of his own self-worth? What do you think? Okay, on to Act 2. And if you thought that was intense, just wait. The logic here takes an even darker turn. In Sonnets 88 and 89, our speaker doesn't just accept the breakup anymore. Oh no, he starts actively helping it along, even if it means completely destroying himself. And this is where things get truly shocking. He basically says to his beloved, look, if you want to leave me, I will literally join your side against myself. I'll give you all the ammunition you need. I will list out every single one of my flaws just to prove you're right to dump me, even though, you're the one breaking your promises. And this just perfectly maps out the speaker's psychological nosedive. Think about it. In Sonnet 87, he just accepts the verdict. By 88, he's actively helping the prosecution build its case against him. And then, in Sonnet 89, he just volunteers to be completely erased from the other person's life. It's a staggering descent. I mean, just listen to the sheer violence in that phrase, acquaintance strangle. It's brutal. He's literally promising to publicly murder any sign that they were ever close, to look at this person he loves like a complete stranger just so he can protect their reputation. And this all leads to the final, devastating conclusion of his twisted logic. It's simple, really. If you hate me and I love you, then I must also hate myself. It's a perfect, airtight formula for just complete psychological surrender. Okay, so now the argument shifts again. We're moving on. He's not trying to justify his lover's actions anymore. Now it's all a desperate plea about how it should end. He's not asking to be saved from the pain. He's just asking for a merciful delivery of it. And he uses this really powerful image to explain it. He says, a single, huge storm of grief, a windy night. You can survive that. It's the rainy morrow that comes after, that slow, endless, draining sorrow. That's what breaks you. See, his real fear isn't the pain itself. It's the slow burn, the death by 1,000 cuts.
So the whole point, the desperate plea, is this. If you're gonna leave me, for God's sake, don't leave me last. Do it now. Do it first. Let the pain of losing you be the massive main event, not the final straw that breaks me after I've already been worn down by a bunch of smaller griefs.
And this, right here, reveals what the sonnet is really about. Losing this person isn't just one more bad thing on a list of bad things. No, the beloved is the absolute center of his universe, the sun in his emotional solar system. So losing him doesn't just add a new sorrow, it completely redefines the very meaning of sorrow itself. Every other pain is now measured against this one. Which brings us to our final act, the final calculation, Sonnet 91. Now this one starts out sounding really triumphant. The speaker makes this big list of all the amazing things he has, things that are way better than anyone else's treasures. But this big boast, it's built on the shakiest foundation you can possibly imagine. So he starts cataloging everything people are proud of, right? Being born into a good family, having tons of money, wearing expensive clothes, physical strength, even things like fancy hawks and horses. And he just goes down the list, dismissing every single one. Why? Because he says his love for this person makes him richer than all of that put together. He takes all of those individual pleasures and basically says his love is the one general best. It's the one thing that contains all the others. It's the source of everything. And for almost the entire poem, he sounds on top of the world, absolutely triumphant. And then the last two lines hit, and the entire floor just drops out from under you. After building this massive treasure chest of happiness, he admits, I am wretched in this one thing alone, that you can take all of it away at any time and leave me with nothing. And that is the gut punch, the devastating takeaway. In just 2 lines, everything he listed, all that pride, that wealth, that joy, they're not treasures anymore. They're hostages. Their entire value depends completely on the whim of one other person. He's basically built a happiness that is perfectly designed to be destroyed. And so, after all that, we're left with this one haunting question that runs through this whole drama. When you've surrendered your judgment, when you've offered to argue against your own existence, when you've made one person the single measure for everything in the world, what is actually left of you?